Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
I don't know why, but yeah, my Ethernet cable apparently wasn't all the way plugged in. It is now, so we should be good to go. With that being said, welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
and this is Mac.
Now, Jake, I do believe you need to refer to Fleric with a little bit of extra gravitas, a little bit of extra respect.
Should I put some sort of like title in front of his name, or what do you mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
I think
idea.
that sounds good. I think that's a good way to demonstrate
yeah.
your fealty to him.
What's the most august title I can award someone? How about I refer to him as Yokozuna Fleric for this whole episode?
I like that.
Ooh,
I
I
like,
like
that.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry. Ta-da! It's done. Yokozuna Fleric.
There we go. Okay.
Should we
All right,
take a third try at this episode,
Nope,
or what?
nope, we got it.
Okay.
No,
all right,
no.
that one was good.
It's good enough. So we are here for our Aki Recap podcast. It was a very wacky Aki. But before we dive into all of the wackiness, we have some patron compliments to give out. Fleric, why don't you kick us off?
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me that, do you?
No, I don't.
was.
I didn't. I came in second. I'm like
Okay, yeah.
Sanyaku Ryan or something like that.
If you're
No,
not
you're
first,
Ozeki,
you're
right?
last, Ryan.
Oh,
No, you're last.
We're all. Oh, yeah. Actually, I
Oh.
was last. Never mind. you're right.
Anyways, Patreon Zooclaw. I enjoy new Patreon Zooclaw so much that if you won an 11-4 Yusho in a playoff with a henka, I'd still like you.
Ooh.
We all would.
Well,
Who could
indeed.
hate you?
Yeah. Who hates henkas on this podcast?
Honestly,
Well, I personally appreciate new patron Elliot Chase so much so that I would flub a henka just to let them win.
That's respect right there.
yeah, no kidding.
Mm.
And I like our new patron Jackie Coble so much that if they pulled a henka in a playoff match, I would call it clever gamesmanship as opposed to rank cowardice.
An important distinction.
Yeah, very
And-
fine line.
And to all of our continuing patrons, including Chris Laufer, Dave Rodriguez, Brenda Velasco, Warehouse Rats, Mosho Geiru, Caroline, King of the Toads, Rod Lunsford, Adam, Emo Dingo, Casey Mustang, Vegso, Paul Simpson, DK, Willie Yan, Nikki Shans, Trent E, Toku's Bulgy Bits, and Stephen Ward.
I always forget that one.
You are all so supportive. Even if I were to win a Yusho by a henka, I know you would all still cheer for me and have my back.
Oh, bravo. Just bravo.
Did I
sense a theme.
sense a yeah? There was a little commonality going on there, wasn't there?
I don't know
I don't
what you
think it'll
mean.
come up later. Don't worry.
Yeah, must be coincidence.
Jake, why don't you hit us with an Amazumo update?
Yeah, amateur sumo super busy this fall. Just this last Saturday, we had the Beer City Sumo Open in Grand Rapids. Go check out the video. The full event video is on the Grand Sumo Breakdown YouTube channel. Due to me and my family catching the Rona once again, I could not be there in person, so I got to sit alone in my office and talk to myself for like 5 straight hours. It was awesome. It was a great event, though. And coming up in October, we have the Sumo World Championships on October 7th and 8th, and the World Combat Games on October 20th. The Combat Games is like a week-long thing, but the sumo part is happening on the 20th. I still don't know how we're supposed to watch those, and as someone who's plugged into amateur sumo as much as I am, that kind of says something about the organization of these.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll spread the word if we hear anything. After that, in Orlando, Florida, on November 3rd and 4th is the Olympia Sumo Championship. That's run by Iron Wave Sumo and Sumo Dan. Then coming up in November 18th, back in the Midwest in Bloomington, Indiana, Ohio Sumo is hosting the Midwest Sumo Open. And let's hope I don't get the Rona again, because I would love to be at that one as well. So yeah, look up, you can find more information on all of these events on sumo411.com. And we spread the word where we can about what's coming up on these. There's a lot of sumo, amateur sumo interaction on Facebook and Instagram. Last thing, The next issue of our American Sumo newsletter will be coming out at the end of October, because I want to include recaps of those international events in there. So wait until the very end of October. There will be the next issue of American Sumo.
And how can people purchase a physical copy of that if they wish?
That's right. I'm still new to that. Message us directly. We are eventually going to have some sort of online store set up so that you can purchase those. But anytime there is a new issue, we open it up for anybody who would like a physical copy of it. They come in 16-page booklets. We do nice high quality printing because we want them to be nice souvenirs. $10, that includes shipping. Get in touch with me just get in touch with Grand Sumo Breakdown through any of our social media for that. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, no problem. And it has been too wacky of an Aki to push off discussing the results any longer. So our show,
I was like,
if we wanted to, we could figure it out, but let's not get into that because we have a show winner. It is 4-time show winner Ozeki Takakeisho with the coveted only happened 4 times in history 11-4 show. Very coveted thing.
God.
It's a rare achievement to get. It's all about perspective on this.
Yeah.
He
This
is
is
one of
not a
4
good
Rikishi
perspective.
to ever get an 11-4 record, and I refuse to believe that's a bad thing.
Yeah, anybody can win a show with 15 wins.
Yeah,
Like anybody who gets 15
Goedo
wins
has
can,
done
yeah.
that. That's not special.
But only 4 guys have gotten a show with 11 wins, and that's really that's where it's at.
Yeah. To the mind games to get your opponents to keep dropping matches around you so that
Got to thread that needle, baby.
Exactly. So Takakeisho now moves up into a tie for 33rd most show of all time, which I still don't think maybe us as a podcast, but I don't think the Sumo Sphere gives Takakeisho enough credit for the career that he is having. He's got 4 career shows. He's only 27 years old. He's got time to rack up a couple more. He has the 2nd most show for a non-Yokozuna at this point in his career, only behind Kaio, who had 5. And he's got time to make it to Yokozuna, potentially after November. We will discuss that further later. But we also, yes.
Oh, I was just going to say Kaio had also was around for approximately 1 billion years.
Yeah.
So Takakeisho is still on the early side of prime, as if going by just general sumo age.
Yep. Going on Takakeisho's injury age might be
maybe
on the
yeah,
later
yeah.
side of prime. Yeah.
Fair enough, but still.
We'll see. We have a June show winner, and that is Maegashira 15 Atami Fuji in just his 2nd career Makuuchi Basho at 21 years old. He was either the outright leader or the co-leader after every single day of the Basho. Even if you look at Sumo DB after day 15, his name's still at the top of Takakeisho at 11 wins. He lost that playoff to Takakeisho. So an impressive performance by Atami Fuji to claim that June show. As indicated in the special prizes, not a whole lot else impressive happening this tournament. Our Gino Show Technique Prize goes out to none other than nobody. Our Shukin Show Outstanding Performance Prize, surprisingly enough, in a Basho where only 2 Rikishi got to 11 wins, no Outstanding Performance Prizes handed out. Weird. And then our Kanto Show Fighting Spirit Prize, that is awarded to Maegashira 15 Atami Fuji. This is his 1st career Fighting Spirit Prize and 1st career special prize of any kind. And that's it. Nobody else getting any sort of special prizes. And honestly, well earned by everybody.
Yeah. I feel like that was saying something by saying very little that they just didn't give out 2 of the 3.
I'd still like to revisit what I said on the midway. It's like, can we call a do-over? Can we just go back? Give me something better than this.
I think it's even more impressive that even in such kind of like a weakened field for this Basho where everybody wasn't fighting up to their game, Kagayaki still managed a losing record and was not able to take advantage of the lessened crowd to grab himself his 1st career special prize. He's going back down to Juryo. So just weird for Kagayaki. You would have thought now was the time, if ever.
I was so sure he was going to pull it off.
He was trying to escape Atami Fuji, but then Atami Fuji followed him.
Yeah.
So he has to drop back down.
You led me right up to the Magashira ranks.
All right, so let's talk about how this Yusho was won for Takakeisho, and ultimately it came down to day 15, as it so often does, where Atami Fuji was alone in the lead with 11-3 record, but there were 4 Rikishi right behind him with 10-4 records. Takayasu, Takakeisho, Hokuseiho, and Daieisho. So if Atami Fuji won his match against Maegashira 2 Asanoyama, win the Yusho outright, he's the only person that could reach 12 wins, get a 12-3 Yusho, probably set some sort of record for fastest Yusho win after reaching Makuuchi, something like that. I don't know. I haven't done the research on it because he didn't win that match, so I didn't have to. But if he lost that match, spoiler, he did, we would have anywhere between a 2-man playoff to a 4-man playoff. And because it's sumo and this Basho sucked, we got the most boring option of those, which is just a 2-person playoff. So Asanoyama defeated Atami Fuji. Wasn't too much of a fight put up by Atami Fuji. Asanoyama seemed to be able to handle him fairly easily. Then we had Hoshoryu going up against Hokuseiho, which was an interesting match because you had Ozeki Hoshoryu, who had Kadoban status on the line after his 3-6 start. He had fought and scratched back to a 7-7 record. He needed to defeat Hokuseiho, who was on an 8-match win streak to get his Kachikoshi. And then you have Hokuseiho, who somehow backdoored his way into Yusho competition on the final day. But Hoshoryu handily takes care of Hokuseiho once again, with leg trips like we saw a couple Basho ago, where Hokuseiho had a really hot start and they faced him against some Sekiwake Rikishi. Just a beautiful trip by Hoshoryu there to guarantee his Ozeki status for the next couple of Basho. He won 5 of his final 6 matches to make that happen, including an impressive defeat of Takakeisho. But that eliminated Hokuseiho from Yusho contention. Then we had Takakeisho versus Daieisho, which Daieisho was coming in on an 8-match win streak. Once again, kind of coming out of nowhere to be in contention for this Yusho. But as he typically does, Takakeisho defeated Daieisho, but Daieisho still managed to get double digits for himself. So possibly starting another fresh push at the Ozeki rank. And then the final match of the day. So we had Takakeisho versus Atami Fuji guaranteed for a playoff. And then the last match of the day, Kirishima versus Takayasu. If Takayasu was able to win, he would be able to join that and create a Tomoe-sen 3-way playoff. But Kirishima was able to handle Takayasu, eliminate him from the Yusho contention. Takayasu loses 4 of his final 6 matches after seemed like he got some sort of injury in his loss against Atami Fuji on day 10. Jake, any thoughts on Takayasu here?
To me, the way that he was walking made it pretty obvious to me that his back was killing him. I think anybody who's had back trouble recognized that gait.
That one match where he like landed on his back pretty bad. Do you think that maybe that was it?
Well,
could have been.
No, I mean it. Wait, no, I don't think he did. It didn't look like from the match. It didn't look obvious what hurt him. I thought.
Maybe not in the match, but I do know.
But once he was
one...
like getting up and walking around, it was like,
no,
that's a guy who's like trying to do that walk that puts as little weight on his spine as possible. Yeah, I don't know. The poor guy looked awful. I'm surprised that he managed to compete, let alone still get a couple wins towards the end of the tournament.
So that left us with just Atami Fuji versus Takakeisho. Would Takakeisho be able to reclaim some Ozeki pride and put another win for the Ozeki when the Yokozuna is out of the Basho? Or would we get a shocking Maegashira 15 Yusho from a 21-year-old who was just in Juryo a Basho before? And we had all this anticipation for a big potential clash, and then Takakeisho steps aside at the Tachiai, avoids head-on collision, and immediately slaps down Atami Fuji. Obviously, the internet was abuzz after this behavior. Abi became villain number 1, persona non grata, after he did this exact thing in Kyushu to win his Yusho. Mac, what was your initial reaction to the Takakeisho henka? And there's been some debate on this. Do you define what he did as a henka or hit and shift?
I would define this more as a hit and shift. While I did get Abi flashes, I was reminded more of Haruma Fuji than anything, where it was just that initial contact. It wasn't a side move per se, but you could tell that Takakeisho was moving back, still took
And
the
sideways.
initial hit, was being pushed back, but I still have to say it's a hit and shift. I don't think it was a failed blatant henka, but it became a hit and shift.
I just rewatched the match. I've got to disagree. I feel like that was a henka. At no point did his feet move forward if there was a hit. It was just because Atami Fuji was fast off the Tachi-ai. But I mean,
but your feet don't necessarily have to be moving forward to call it a shift. They can go to the side or they can go to the back.
Yeah, the only it's a henka. I mean, come on.
Of course it's a henka. I'm trying to create good content.
Yeah, there are gradients of what a henka obviously is. Like, like we talk about like the Chio Shoma where it's just kind of like, nope, I'm just gonna completely jump out of the way kind of henka.
This was Fat Boy henka.
Fat boy henka, but like he moved sideways,
fat boy
but there was still he's still like, because he's so large, there was still contact. So.
Yeah. He couldn't get it all out of the way.
Yeah.
But so when you saw it, what was your reaction to that match? Henka or not, whatever you define it as, what's your reaction to that match?
Here, let me recreate it.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. It was fitting. It was just all right. That's what we get for Aki this time.
I remember this because I was laying in my bed after 2 long days at Disney World, and I was just oh, people are gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, obviously, but I was also like, oh, people are gonna be
the
so
internet
bad.
is going to be a buzz.
Yeah, for people like not benefiting from the video feed, Ryan's eyes got super wide along with his like mouth. He was like,
it dropped open,
super gasp along with that. People are gonna be mad.
It was
for me,
it's that
it was
face
kind
you
of...
make if somebody like slaps somebody else in public. Like, ooh.
For me, I just had like I just kind of had like just exhaled from my nose a little bit faster than normal.
I assumed you were going to be running laps around your room, cheering and screaming, celebrating. Not only did Takakeisho win one of your favorite guys, but he used your favorite move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
my favorite move. Interesting. No, that's a Kata Sukashi right now, don't you know?
Oh, okay.
That's the hot Marite.
That's the new hotness.
Aha!
Yeah,
it's the
there
new
was
meta.
yeah, that's the move
the
that
new meta.
Midori Fuji loves a lot. And I just recently saw there was an NHK video about just all about this, and apparently from the 1970s to now, that is the hottest rising Kimarite going on, the Kata Sukashi. So it's just like
Riding the wave.
I am very fickle for what is on the pulse of popular Kimarite. So no, I'm out with the henka. While I still respect it, that it's no longer my favorite.
Okay, gotcha. So the question of Takakeisho Yokozuna promotion, if he wins in November, has been speculated on by a lot of people not qualified to speculate on it, and we're going to throw our hats into that ring as well. But the fact that he won by a henka, which is obviously a legal move, it's not against the rules anywhere, but it is obviously frowned upon, especially by Rikishi of the rank Ozeki and Yokozuna. Has it never been used by one of those Rikishi before? No, of course not. It's been used by Hakuho. It's been used by, I believe, Kisei no Sato has done it. Terra no Fuji. It's been used by a lot of Rikishi, and I will say, probably to a lot of upset people at the time. But it hasn't resulted in anybody losing their rank or anything like that, or being kept from a rank or anything like that. But there's also the issue of it's 11 win Yusho. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, Hokuto Fuji can get 11 wins. Does he deserve to be Yokozuna if he did that one more time? So, Jake, I want to start with you. Should the way that Takakeisho won this match eliminate him from possible Yokozuna consideration if he were to win the next Basho?
Do you want me to bring up the numbers now, or should I save that to the end of this conversation?
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, he'll get promoted if he wins the next one.
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
he will. The last, so here's the numbers. In the Yusho era, where where it's actually defined that the most wins gets a prize, like it's a lot shorter, a more recent era than you might expect. It's really only since like 1909 that the winner of the tournament has been awarded, as opposed to it just being the tournament is just sumo has happened now.
Yeah,
you know?
enjoy. You have witnessed sumo. Oh wait, we have to
yes,
crown.
And now it is concluded, and we shall move on to the next. Yeah, whatever. But like since 1909, it's become a lot more. You won. You get the prizes. You are the winner of this basho. And a lot of other changes came into play over the next like 40 years or so. It's really since the 50s that like the modern era is generally defined, where we have 6 bashos, 15 days each. These are the general rules for who gets promoted when, things like that. So I've got some numbers starting at 1909 and some numbers that start in 1951, and I'll get to why that's important. But starting in 1909, there have only been 15 occasions where a single Ozeki has won 2 Yusho in a row, or 2 tournaments in a row. In that same time span, there's been 51 Yokozuna promotions. So less than a third of the time, less than a third of the time, the new Yokozuna is coming off of 2 Yushos. That blew my mind, because I thought that was like always had been the rule. It's a little bit more straightforward if we talk about the last 70 years or so, since the 50s. That has been, let's see, there have been 11 times since 1950 where the same Ozeki won 2 tournaments in a row, and there have been 33 total Yokozuna promotions in that span. I take it back, that's almost the exact same fraction. So roughly a third of the time, it requires those 2 wins as an Ozeki. So the point I'm trying to make is that 2 Yusho wins, you don't even need that most of the time.
Our last 3 Yokozuna have
exactly.
not. Kakuryu, Kiseno Sato, and Teruno Fuji.
Bingo. Yeah, they all had like at least 1 Yusho and 1 really good performance back to back. But it hasn't, nobody since Haruma Fuji has won 2 Yusho as an Ozeki back to back. And he obviously got promoted.
Double Zenshos. So yeah.
Yeah, he went 30-0 in 2 tournaments. Yeah, that was no brainer.
No brainer.
The last 11 times since 1951, the last 11 times that somebody has gotten 2 Yusho in a row as an Ozeki, they got promoted. If there's henkas in there, I don't know of them. It's kind of hard to do that research on the fly. But yeah, 2 wins and you're in has been the rule for 70 years. What's up, Fleric?
No, I was just gonna say I remember it being.
What did you call
You're
him,
right.
Jake?
Yokozuna Fleric. Yeah. Yokozuna Fleric. Tell us about your opinions on being promoted to Yokozuna.
Not disrespect him.
I didn't disrespect him. You disrespected him by interrupting, Mac. Yokozuna Fleric, please continue.
Thank you very much, Sukebito, Jake.
You're welcome.
Now, I was just gonna mention I'm pretty sure it's been kind of said by the YDC that 2 wins is kind of the de facto. We'll get it. I think kind of one of the instances that happened that kind of decided this. I think it was who was the 80s Ozeki guy from
way ahead of you. Futahagaro.
Yeah.
Futahagaro.
No, not Futahagaro. No, there's Ozeki.
Fuji?
No, it's like start with a K during the 80s.
Are you talking about Konishiki?
Konishiki, yeah.
Okay.
There was a famous kind of incident that happened where he was like doing very well as an Ozeki, and he said something along the lines of like, if I was Japanese, I would be a Yokozuna by now.
Right.
And that just kind of
there was
a lot of stir during that time, and maybe not after that directly, but at some point after that, it was actually kind of said and solidified that if you get 2 Yushos, you're gonna get promotion.
Yeah.
Probably assuming all the Hinkaku, like as long as they're not like in noticeably bad disgrace, probably with their behavior.
Well,
Asterisk.
let me head you off by telling you about the research I already did on this exact topic here.
Oh, fantastic.
No, for Konishiki, the reason that he did not get it was he had 2 Yusho in 3 tournaments, but in between he did not have a very good one. I think it was only an 8 and 7.
No, it was a 12-3.
12 and 3,
it
non-Yusho?
wasn't a Yusho or a Jun Yusho.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then. But like, yeah, that was the reason that he didn't get it in that time, and that was his best specific run. The other reason that this 2 Yushos is the rule is Futahagaro, the name that, yeah, Ryan, you also remember this guy. This guy was an Ozeki. He was a absolutely red hot prospect, got to Ozeki in like 5 minutes. And he had a handful of Jun Yushos, but did not have an actual Yusho. But he had been doing so well and gotten so many second place finishes that they promoted him having 0 career Yusho wins. And then shortly after, he retired due to a scandal, and he was the only Yokozuna to never have a Yusho.
Right.
Never had the best record in a tournament, and yet he had the Yokozuna rank. And that was kind of, there was a while where because of that, they were like, nope, you got to win 2 or otherwise you can't be promoted. And that has loosened up again a little bit, obviously.
I think that held pretty strong until Asashoryu and Hakuho existed back to back, and nobody was going to win back to back Yushos off of those 2.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean those two are both guys that went 2 and they 2 wins and they're in. But yeah, it's basically that's been the case roughly since 1950 that you don't need to get promoted, but if you get to, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
There are only 2 instances in this 1909 to present period where 2 Yusho as an Ozeki did not do it. And I don't know the specifics on these. I'd love to look into them more. But there was one time in, let's cover the less weird one first. In 1950, Shio no Yama got promoted to Ozeki, and then after that won his next 2 Yusho. I'm guessing that they did not promote him immediately, probably because he just became an Ozeki.
So new.
Maybe. I don't know. That's speculation on my part because I don't have much more research. But he did win another Yusho a year later, and then they promoted him to Yokozuna. So that one doesn't seem super egregious in hindsight. This was during the roughly 3 Basho a year era. So like, yeah, that is kind of like a long span of time that he was in the running. But the
rules
really
weren't quite
one,
as solidified.
Also that, yeah. Exactly. The one that really blows my mind, in 1931, this was a even more inconsistent era as far as how many bashos there were per year, and even like how many matches per basho. Like, I don't understand how that was still like in flux, but that was a thing for a while. Tamanishiki was promoted to Ozeki, immediately got a Jun Yusho, after which point he won the next 3 basho. He won consecutively, and they did not promote him to Yokozuna. If he pulled a henka in one of those and that's the reason, there's your answer. But I don't have any evidence that that's what happened. I don't know the full story, and if anybody does, that'd be great. I did not dig into the why super deep. I just found the instance and wrote down the stats of it. 2 years later, after a 7 and 4 that wasn't even a Jun Yusho, he was promoted to Yokozuna. I don't know, but those are the only 2 instances. Oh, and I'm sorry if I didn't mention it. Tamanishiki, that was in 1931 that he had his excellent run that was not good enough for Yokozuna.
Gotcha.
So after that history lesson, what I can say is if Takakeisho were to win the next Yusho and not get promoted to Yokozuna, that would be the first time in 73 years that an Ozeki would win 2 Yusho and not get promoted. And I think that's about as good a precedent as any to say that he would be an absolute lock. Doesn't matter too much how he wins. If he wins by like, I don't know, bringing a knife into the ring or something, like maybe that would be enough of a Hinkaku issue. But
Could
yeah,
change the meta.
Could change
It
the meta
definitely
for sure.
changed the meta.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, Flair?
I got another, I guess, proposition for you. What if he gets a 14-1 Jun Yusho in a playoff, and he's beaten only by Terunofuji?
Now we're in the territory where, like, yeah, I couldn't say for sure, but like
would it be the henka?
The reason that I framed my research the way I did was I heard people say that this doesn't count as a Yusho. And I think that is an absurd stance to take. I'm saying that if he does win it, he's for sure in. If he comes really close, if it's if it's a 14-1 and his only loss is Teruno Fuji and that he has a playoff against him or something like that, yeah, we're in territory where it's debatable. But yeah, if he wins it, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I think is the real big debate. Exactly what Fleric laid out. I think even if he 12-3 next time,
there's going to be an asterisk.
It's, I mean, there won't. JSA doesn't do asterisks. There might be in our heads.
Okay,
but
the West, JSA West puts an asterisk by.
So Mac, let me ask you then: Do you think that this 11-4 Yusho, because I mean it's 11 wins, anybody can pull 11 wins out of their ass. Oho did a couple Basho ago.
Exactly.
Should this be considered part of a Yokozuna run? Yes, technically he walked away with the hardware, but it's only 11 wins. Should this be considered a Yokozuna run?
No, this is not the caliber that you want your Yokozuna to be at. You want 13. That should be the lowest you should be for a Yokozuna. 13 in my book is okay. That's bottom ranked Yokozuna. You want 14-1, you want 15-0, 13-2. Okay, maybe, but you've really got to impress with that. 11-4, like you said, Oho got that. Atami Fuji, M15, he just got that. It's just not impressive enough to be a Yokozuna. Now, technically, yes,
you
he
got
did
14-1 that one time from the bottom. So,
should have promoted him there and then.
Should have promoted him to Yokozuna.
Missed chance. Then he would have been fighting as Yokozuna this whole entire time. It would be great.
Might still be fighting today.
Might be. I have some. I agree with your. I can respect that thought, Ryan. Not Ryan, but Mac on that. The performance has to be better, and I have some thoughts to kind of go either way on that. Which is, first of all, I feel like the 11-4 is in the isolation, it doesn't necessarily say anything about how good this wrestler is. I guess maybe relatively to everyone else, but to me, it just says you are better than everyone, but maybe everyone around you, and maybe right now, all the Sekiwaki and Ozeki, well, not the Ozeki, this one except Takakeisho, are just really good. And so you lost a couple matches, but I would say the one thing in your favor though, Mac, on that was the matches that Takakeisho lost were not necessarily in the Joy and the Sanyaku. It was they were in the Joy, but yeah, he lost the match to Hokuto Fuji, Tobizaru, probably the most damning of them all. He lost one to M3 Shodai.
Yeah.
That's if he's Yokozuna and if he's giving out these Kimboshi 3 already in the beginning, that gets or 2, that gets expensive. You got the JSA has to watch out for their pocketbooks on this one.
Yeah, Takakeisho won this Yusho. He didn't have to fight Teruno Fuji, but nobody did. He also didn't have to fight Kirishima, and the one Ozeki he did fight, Hoshoryu, he lost to. He didn't beat anybody ranked Ozeki and above. I think if he wins, this is my stance. I think if he wins next Basho, Yokozuna, I don't care if it's another 11-4. I kind of think that's how it's going to go. To Fleric's question, the 14-1 playoff loss, I don't think he's promoted to Yokozuna. I think this 11 wins will hold him back in that case, especially with who was absent, who he fought and didn't fight, and who those losses came to. So I think it's Yusho or nothing for Takakeisho this time. Now that 14-1 Yusho playoff theoretical would be great for the next one, and if you got another 11-4 next time, who knows? But we talk about these back-to-back Yushos. If you win back-to-back Yushos, you're guaranteed Yokozuna promotion. But you look at these back-to-back Yushos, what they've been. Haruma Fuji, 15-0, 15-0. Hakuo, 13-2, 15-0. Asashoryu, 14-1, 14-1. These guys are getting 26 to 30 wins, whereas even if Takakeisho hit the 11-14, that's still 25 wins, which was good enough one time in history for Taiho, who got back-to-back 13-2 and 12-3 Yushos and was promoted. So even if he does get 12,
and look how that went.
That seems to go pretty well for him. But I think back-to-back Yushos, I think you got to give it to him. Anything short of that, no. And I don't care about the henka. I don't think the henka is really going to be considered into it. I think it's all about the wins and how this
Sure.
Yusho was won.
I just want more.
I do too. I think we all do.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think like if he gets that like Yusho equivalent or whatever the phrasing is
Yeah.
that pops up all the time, yeah, like we'll call it 14-1 playoff loss. That would absolutely count as the beginning of his next run.
Yeah.
Yes,
But-
Because
absolutely.
this Yusho is not a Yusho equivalent.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
But so, like I said, we're all highly unqualified to discuss any of this because we don't know what's going on. So let's find some quotes from some people who are semi-qualified to talk about this, and that is YDC East, the actual factual Yokozuna Deliberation Council that the JSA listens to for some reason. They still haven't gotten back to us on any of our
Yeah.
missives
Yeah.
or questions for them. So on Takakeisho, they said 11-4 is historically a low-level Yusho, but Kadoban Takakeisho fulfilled his responsibilities as an Ozeki and attained the Yusho. This fact in itself is important. This sends out a great message of hope to all the Rikishi who are struggling with injuries or attempting to return from injuries. Wonderful news for them. I value that facet as well and hope for him to recover and be healthy. He added, the internet was buzzing with the henka business. The truth is, you go for the Yusho, and that's what will be remembered. A brilliant result. It's important that he won his regular bout and then the playoff bout. I think we need to take a positive view of his reaching the playoffs. Sumo is about keiko and effort. We should look at it this way as well. There are some people who think an 11-4 Yusho leaves much to be desired. These four guys right here. But what's
Hello.
important is lifting that cup. It's important that all efforts should go towards that goal. Only one person can win the Yusho. That is the important thing. He has overcome his knee and neck injuries and won the Yusho, and that deeply moved many people. Not in good ways. The henka question is a
He kind of let those
complicated-
people move themselves, and he got out
Yeah,
of the way.
really,
You-
and then just
one
slapped them
might
down.
say.
The henka question is a complicated one. There is no one answer to that. I watched it many times on video. Parts of the media have said that he was flying, but I felt he was not. Definitely not flying.
No,
Worst case, it could be called a
I've seen
henka.
It was a big
I
boy
saw
flying.
it.
Yeah,
big boy
flying. Yeah. Worst case, it could be called a henka. Big difference there, as he did hit first and then shifted. In any case, he wasn't going to let Atami Fuji get that right hand grip, so that thought may have resulted in that kind of sumo. The way I saw it may be interpreted that I am biased towards Takakeisho, but it's a viable view, and I feel whatever it was, henka or flying, it did not leave any extremely bad feelings.
Let's say a
sounds
hot
like-
hot take to Atami Fuji. Do you
Yeah.
have any bad feelings, sir?
Oh yeah.
Poor Tommy Fuji,
It-
dude was holding back the tears after he lost that. Your heart goes out to
Tugging
the
on
guy.
the heartstrings.
That's true. Well, luckily he's a young guy, and I think he hopefully can do.
He'll be here
I think he
again.
has something he can draw. I thought it was interesting that he also confirmed that it was like hit and shift or so. Because
Yeah.
what Mac said, he was agreeing with Mac, which is great.
Cool.
But the other thing I want to point out in that is like something we actually I don't think we gave enough actual talking about was like the fact all the injuries that Takakeisho has had, and like the fact that he's actually kind of healed up and came back from that and actually still got a Yusho result from it is actually just so very, very sumo actually. Of where it's like, oh, he just, although I'm not sure if he's like training every day as hard as he can, but he's probably very efficient. I don't know. But it's like, but it's just the story is not as good as the Teruno Fuji story of like falling all the way back down. But it's like he's like dropped down from Ozeki a couple times, and he's still he still has it to win it when he's healthy. So
Yeah.
it's a very impressive, very sumo story, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's got more Yusho than Teruno Fuji does this year.
True. Two
True.
Yusho for Takakeisho this year. I just want to take a quick look at Takakeisho, how he's done on his previous potential Yokozuna runs. So he won his first Yusho as an Ozeki back in November of 2020. He followed that up with a injury pullout Basho starting 2-7 and then pulling out. And then his next one, he got the Yusho in January of this year, and then he pulled out of that Basho after a 3-3 start. So we'll see what happens this time. Hopefully he can keep it all together and make make it a little bit further into the tournament and stay at the top of the leaderboard to make it a question. I would love to see him get the U show just so we could see how it's handled with a couple of
Yeah.
back-to-back low number of win U shows. Like, I'd love to see 11-4, 12-3, 23 wins over to Basho and get promoted to Yokozuna, just so we have that data point for the future, so we know how it's
Bingo.
handled.
Agreed.
Or another 11-4 henka playoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really push the envelope there.
Like, all right, now how are they gonna take this?
All right, so we've beaten that horse to death. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to the whole Takakeisho? Henka, do we care? 11 wins, do we care? Or are we good on that?
I do have another research project that I'm going to section off into 3 parts, each of which will be 20 to 30 minutes long.
Okay.
To start with, no, I'm kidding. Let's move on.
All right.
Oh,
What?
I was gonna paraphrase. Let me go get
Cleric
more.
was
I thought-
writing.
Cleric
I
was
thought
honestly
this
ready
was
for
like a
that.
new. I thought this was a new series, and you're just saying like I have all planned out, and it's gonna be exactly 20 to 30 minutes. How the hell do you have that in planning phase?
I
What
don't
the hell?
plan that. I
Jake
write
is
bullet
going
points and
back
ramble.
and rewatching every sumo match to see who Hanka'd who and how they were received in sumo. He's going to go back, dig through all the news articles, and see what repercussions there were due to the Hankas.
I'm already falling
Until the
asleep.
1950s.
Yes.
Yeah, the modern era, exactly.
All
Okay,
right.
what's our next topic, please?
Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more about Atami Fuji, because he's another one of these young guys who's kind of hitting the ground running, entering Makuuchi this year. So Jake, where would you place Atami Fuji, 21 years old, just got 11-4 record and a June U show? How would you kind of rank him amongst the growing group of promising Rikishi that have debuted this year?
I kind of already feel like I've monopolized enough time on this one, but I guess I would put him. I feel like he has proven himself as much as our other big 3 new prospects that we've been talking about: Haku Oho, Gonoyama, Shonan Naomi, Atami Fuji. Yeah, I think it's a pack of 4 now instead of 3.
Ahead of
5, including
Hokuseiho?
Hokuseiho?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Fair, very fair.
Maybe not like a massive amount, but yes, I would say ahead of him.
At least
Yeah,
his right arm.
To that point, I was kind of looking through some of his match records, and like it looks like I think 2 Bashos ago, when like a lot of these same people were in Juryo, and this is one he had a 13-2, and he had wins against Shonan no Umi. I think I saw Gonoyama in here too.
Gonoyama. Mm-hmm.
So like he obviously they have all since grown right then, but I'm with you. I think he's kind of right there with them. I did notice like when he did get to the Sanyaku matches, he kind of hit a wall of like a step of a competition that he wasn't necessarily ready for. But like he did get that win against Abi, and like I thought that was a fantastic match against Abi.
Yeah.
Fucking Abi.
That
But
was
I
a
mean,
good one.
Gonoyama and Shonan Naomi have also shown that they are not quite ready for the upper echelon. So
Yeah. That's to be
Yeah.
expected for anybody rising up the
Exactly.
ranks. Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are still
so-
kids.
unless they're like an absolute generational prodigy like Hakuho, even the top prospects you'd expect to hit plateaus every now and then.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess in my opinion, Atami Fuji's absolutely in that pack of prospects that are all kind of in the same, roughly the same tier.
And so, Mac, how high would you place Atami Fuji? How high do you think he will place in our popular Rikishi poll that we're going to have coming up after the November Basho, after everybody got to see him holding back those tears after losing the playoff match?
If anybody knows anything, it's that Fat Man tears are just a joyous thing to witness. And in this case, it was just bitterness. They weren't joy. He had it in his hands. And that face that he made, yes, it was anguish, but God, so adorable. So I'm betting at least top 5 in popularity.
Ooh, big
Wow,
jump for Atami
okay.
Fuji. We'll see.
That's good.
Just kind of want to restock where we are at for our Ozeki. We were kind of a little doom and gloom on the midway episode. Obviously, Takakeisho, he's looking to leave the Ozeki ranks, but he's doing that with upward movement instead of downward movement. So he's going to be on a rope run next Basho. Kirishima and Hoshoryu both managed to get their Kachikoshi, guaranteeing their rank until at least January. I'm expecting Hoshoryu got over whatever it was bothering him in the first week, which is probably just
Ozeki yips.
cockiness.
Yep.
And
It's the yips.
first Ozeki jitters, probably. I'm expecting good things out of both these guys coming up. And then for our Sekiwakes looking for promotion, we had Koto Nawaka, who had 11 wins from the Komusubi rank back in July. He got 9 wins this Basho. So he has 20 over 2 Basho. So it wouldn't be out of the question to see 13-2 record possibly boost him up to Ozeki. It'd be interesting to see, since it'd be 11, 9, 13, and they kind of like to see it rising all the way through. But
I bet you if he wins, he could probably even fall 1 win short if it was a Yusho or something.
yeah, we'll
He's
see.
definitely in the running, I'd say.
Daisho rebounded pretty well after his broken rib last Basho really kind of bothered him at the end there. He's got 19 wins over 2 Basho, so he's within amazing Yusho win territory of an Ozeki promotion. And then Wakamoto Haru, he's just holding steady with another 9 wins over 2 Basho. But this is another Basho where our Sekiwake have been very strong, as no Ozeki has had fewer than 9 wins since Wakataka Kage in March of this year. So every single Sekiwake Rikshi has had 9 wins or more for the past 3 Basho, and we've had at least 3 Sekiwake each of those Basho. So the Sekiwake game has been as strong as it maybe literally ever has been in history this half year. Like, no joke, because we were talking before with like when Hoshoryu, Kirishima, Daisho, like all these guys having back-to-back double-digit wins in the Sanyaki ranks. It was like first time we were tracking like 3 or 4 Ozeki runs at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is the best Sekiwake game we've seen in a while. And we talked about it on the midway. We were a little doom and gloom about like Daisho's chances. I think he's kind of reestablished that he could push for the Ozeki. So I don't think we're done with the Ozeki promotions from this group of Rikshi. So we've spent quite a bit of time discussing Takakeisho here this Basho. Let's just go through some quick hits of anybody else we want to hit on real quick. As we said, not a highly remarkable Basho for things going on. So Asanoyama, he struggled fighting those upper rankers, finished with a 9-6 record, and this won't be good enough for him to make his way into the Sanyaku ranks. There's going to be a couple of guys that are going to claim those spots ahead of him. So got to be a disappointing performance for Asanoyama here. Anybody big thoughts on Asanoyama?
Meh.
It's not
He's-
quite as meteoric a rise as we were kind of anticipating, but yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, he's still clearly like, second tier, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, second tier. Would you put him like in the kind of Sekiwake kind of tier?
I could
like
see,
with all
Sekiwake Komusubi level.
yeah, because that's in my head. That's kind of like he's kind of in par with them, but
Mhm.
this wasn't. Yeah, that's kind of like my thought where he's at right now too.
We'll see another couple months rest. If he can get over that toe injury, that bicep injury, we'll see how he does in the next Basho, if he can put together double-digit wins or push for the Yusho in the final Basho of the year. Midori Fuji absolutely
I love
dominating
this.
week 2. He won his final 8 matches after a 2-5 start to the Basho. 5 of those wins in his final 8 were by the ever rising Kimarite, the Kata Tsukashi, and he had 6 total Kata Tsukashi wins on the Basho, and he had an absolutely beautiful throw by Sada Naomi on day 11 that the Sukui Nage Kimarite does not do justice. It should have been called something else because it was too good to just simply be a Sukui Nage.
It's a Sukui Nage with glitter on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
A shimmering Sukui Nage.
But-
So it was called out on Breakfast in a Basho. I would recommend that series. Take a look.
Yeah, with Justin.
With Justin. Keep an eye out for that next Basho. It's not something that I want to bring too much attention to because of all of the copyright strikes that have been plaguing Sumo YouTube this Basho. regardless, called out that so I think Justin said something like, I think he does Katasukashi more than most people do. So,
Yeah.
so I was like,
hot take.
so I was like, no shit, but let me figure out the numbers. So I used our patented Namiyama methodology.
Ooh.
Namiyama stands for Normalization Analysis Method, Inferencing Yearly Average Metadata Assembly. It rolls off the tongue. You could also represent Namiyama as the kanji for ordinary and mountain.
Cool. Ordinary mountain.
Or average mountain. So our Namiyama analysis, we take a look at the last 6 basho, the last 1 year of top division Kimarite, and we compare that to how a specific wrestler generally wins their matches. So if you were to look at the last average or the last year of data, you'd have 24% of all matches are won by Oshidashi, 24% by Yorikiri. They're slightly off, but they're basically the same. That's generally every year. That's about the same. After that, about 10% are Hataki Komi. Maybe 7% are Tsuki Otoshi. And they go down from there. But we take that total number and we compare that to what are Midori Fuji's overall numbers. So if the average Oshidashi win percentage is 24 and Midori Fuji's is 16%, that means that he uses Oshidashi about 1/3 less often than an average wrestler would. Make sense? That's generally the numbers. So he uses Yorikiri about half as often as an average wrestler would.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because he uses Katasukashi 15 times more often than a normal wrestler would.
Crap.
Yeah. In his career, he has won 1.5 times as many matches by Katasukashi as he has by Oshidashi.
Wow.
He has won the same number of matches by Katasukashi as he has by Oshidashi and Yorikiri combined. I have no idea. There's something about this man that makes this his move. In the last year, there have been 28 Katasukashi victories in the top division. Midori Fuji's responsible for 11 of them. It's kind of we encountered this issue with Tochinoshin where it's like, wow, he uses Tsuridashi way more often than the normal guy. Oh, never mind. That's because the normal guy doesn't use it, and all of the examples are from Tochinoshin.
Yeah.
It's a very similar situation. It's his move. Basically, nobody else does it very often. And he just finds a way to win a full quarter of his matches by an obscure move that is used less than 2% of the time. I don't know. It's fascinating. The other one that he does, Shitate Nage, he uses that more than 4 times as much as an average wrestler. Shitate Hineri, this one's kind of misleading. He uses it 36 times as often as a normal wrestler, but that's 5 times because that's not a very common one. So that's kind of how the numbers are can be misleading. But in general, he is roughly proportionate on most Kimarite, except for Katasukashi is just for whatever reason blowing everything else out of the water. So thought that was a fun way to dive into it and kind of quantify how ridiculous that is, because it's obviously ridiculous, but it's worth knowing exactly how much, I think.
I've kind of just been watching Midori Fuji's throw against Sada no Umi on day 11 on repeat. It's just so good.
Beautiful.
Because it's a beltless arm throw, but he's also got the leg hooked and he's got the other hand on Sada no Umi's head, pushing him down. He's got everything. They both flip in the air together and Midori Fuji lands on top of him. It's just, God, I love it so much. It's so visually pleasing.
Yeah.
So good.
For reference, real quick, Katasukashi is where you have an underarm grip on your opponent and you grab their back and you pull them forward and pull them down. Sukuinage is where you have that underarm grip and you use it to throw them rather than pull them down. They're very similar setups. So I'm not surprised that Sukuinage and Katasukashi are very, very high on his list compared to a regular wrestler.
Yeah. Looking at how our Sanyaku ranks are going to shake out in the next Bonsuke, Nishiki finally wrestled a bit more like the Nishiki we're used to. 5-10 record in his Komusubi debut. We'll see how far he drops down and if he bounces back with another amazing performance when he's out of the Sanyaku ranks. Tobizaru has typical Tobizaru performance at Komusubi, a 6-9 record. So both of them will be dropping from the Komusubi rank. They should be replaced by Hokuto Fuji and unfortunately Abi, who's like
Okay.
we're talking about Takakeisho. I was like, yeah, he henka. Like, I mean, it's not fun to watch, but we don't dislike Takakeisho by any means. We're all four of us are Takakeisho stans because he was kind of like the first prospect that ever became something that when we started watching sumo. And I think
he was one of the hot people.
Yeah. But Abi, I just absolutely loathe that man because like even when he's like secured a winning record and he's going against Itami Fuji, he's pulling out the henka, and like Abi henkas are way worse than Takakeisho's henkas. God,
he's all like knees and elbows, and it's just not even pretty.
Yeah, I hate Abi. I hope he gets a losing record next Basho. Like when he came back, I was kind of all about Abi. He won me a couple of prediction series.
You chose him as your champ.
And it did good for me, but God, I hate Abi so much right now.
I envy your ability to have stronger opinions for no reason about these wrestlers.
Yes.
And they'll change like
day to day, minute to minute.
Yeah. But right now, over the past few Bashos, I just have a burning hatred for Abi, and I want nothing but bad things for him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we learned that you disliked Gono Yama like mid-sentence. You were like, yeah, he's coming up. He's a good prospect. He was trained by Goedo. Oh, screw that guy.
Oh, no.
Like, I think we watched it happen, like on a podcast.
Speaking of Gono Yama, he went 9-6 at his career high rank of Maegashira 5 this Basho. So he should end up within the Joy next Basho. He did have some competition against the higher ranked Rikishi this time. He fought Ozeki Takakeisho, Ozeki Hoshoryu, Sekiwake Daisho, and he lost all of those matches. The only win he picked up against the Sanyaku Rikishi was against Komusubi Tobizaru. So kind of what we talked about, these guys going up against the higher rankers, they're getting put in their place. It's their first time that they've fought anybody of that caliber. They've got to figure out what it takes to beat somebody of that skill level. And Shonan Naomi was also at his career high rank of Maegashira 5, 7-8 record, which is not exactly the record you're looking for in your champ pick, is it, Jake?
Shut up. Wasn't even expecting that one. Oof.
Is there two more people I want to bring up real quick. Shodai and Mitaki Yumi, those two are always going to be linked in my head for the rest of time that they're competing, because they were both Ozeki at the same time who lost the Ozeki rank in back-to-back Basho. Both of them kind of put things together a little bit this time. Shodai with an 8-7 record. So Shodai's hanging around the Joy. That's kind of where his level of sumo is at right now. And Mitaki Yumi getting a 9-6 at Maegashira 11. You would hope a guy like Mitaki Yumi could manage better than 9-6 at Maegashira 11. When the Basho started, he started off pretty hot. I thought like, oh, maybe Mitaki Yumi Yusho upcoming, but it just didn't turn into anything. So it's a winning record for Mitaki Yumi, but it's still kind of sad to see the state that he has ended up in since losing that Ozeki rank.
It's 6 more wins than he got last time, but like, come on. If he was healthy, he should be wiping the floor with that rank.
Yeah. Anybody have anybody else that they want to bring up at this time?
We briefly mentioned Hokuseiho. Looking pretty cool. Looking like he actually did sumo a few times this tournament.
He has not been completely figured out. It's a shocking thing when you fight against higher quality Rikishi, just like we talked about Gono Yama. You got to figure out, you got to learn how to beat those guys. But he's back down where he was before, and he's got his best record in the top division now. So
I've said it before, and I'll say it again because I feel like I'm pretty clever about it. If somebody teaches Hokuseiho how to do sumo, he'll be unstoppable
at sumo.
At sumo, exactly.
Absolutely.
Wanted to give one quick shout out to the other 10-5 Rikishi was Myogiru. It's like, hey, all right, way to go, double digits.
He did a lot better than a lot of the other older Rikishi that was in his area of the Bonsuke. Takeda Fuji 7-8 record, Aoyama 5-10. He's gonna be borderline Juryo. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. By the math, he deserves to go down to Juryo, but the promotion cases down there kind of get iffy on if they'll take the promotion from Juryo or leave Aoyama kind of at the bottom of the Bonsuke. And then you also had Chiyoshima 3-12 record. He's going to be dropping down into
That's
Juryo. Yeah. So Chiyoshima, he was down in Juryo for a little bit before he came back up. Most recent stint in Makuuchi. I feel like he's been up in Makuuchi for a couple of years now. So he's going to be dropping back down at the age of 32. So yeah, he's been in Makuuchi longer than I thought. It was 2020, September 2020 when he made his way back. For some reason I thought it wasn't that long ago he was in Juryo.
Tamawashi.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I literally do not know why. I have kind of come around on him. Maybe it's just because
we all have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just been long enough since he brutalized my boy Takayasu and Nagoya.
The Kotenages of death.
2019.
2019.
Oh yeah,
He's
it
also
was the day
firmly-
that we were in attendance. Oh, okay. I hate him
Yeah.
again. Screw him.
I literally just watched Jake go, that's okay too. Oh, I hate him again. Hey, he just did what Ryan did.
He pulled Orion, yeah.
No, he's
Yeah.
he's 37, which in sumo years is like a million, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think just the unbeaten or not unbeaten, the
Iron Man
streak. He's never missed a match, kind of deal. It's kind of made him a little bit inspiring, and he sucked ass this tournament.
Quick
You
correction,
also now
Jake.
hate his guts.
I hate him again. Yeah.
He's 38 years old, and he's going to turn 39 on
Way off.
day 5 of the November Basho.
Oh, he is pushing
That is
40 after
super
this.
old.
Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of cemented himself as just the old dude of the division.
So I mentioned Breakfast in a Basho earlier. Justin, the guy that hosts that, he is 40, maybe 41 or something like that. And yeah, even he talking about the Basho is like, Tamawashi is so old. Oh man, I'm older than him.
That'll be us in a few years.
Sorry, Justin.
That's
We
already
are-
us for some of these guys. Like we talk about Takayasu like he's old. and-
Takayasu is younger than me and Fleric and Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the lower division Yushos. In Juryo, we have Ichi Yamamoto, who I think he was just demoted down to Juryo after this past Basho. Well, he's going to make it a short stint down there as he won the Yusho with a 13-2 record. This is his second career Juryo Yusho and his third lower division Yusho. Not much to say. Ichi Yamamoto, we know who Ichi Yamamoto is, so it is what it is.
Yeah, Ono Sato looked really good in Juryo.
He did. Yep. He dropped a few matches towards the end, ended up with a 12-3 record, but who's mad at a 12-3 record in your Sekitori debut? Absolutely.
No.
Ono Sato. I think we see another performance like that next Basho. We're going to see him in the top division for January.
Yeah. And looking at the results, look at Tomokaze had 11-4. Is he probably going to jump back up, do you think? From Juryo J3?
Will be back in the top division next
Let's
Basho 4 years after his knee literally exploded.
Was that
forcing him-
also the Basho when we traveled to Japan?
No, that was
I don't think so.
It was
It was
I
close
think it
to
was
it, right?
November. I think it was
Okay.
November for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been a long time coming, and he was a red hot prospect. Yeah, excited to see if he can reach those same heights.
I don't think so. I feel like I don't know.
He
we'll see.
he got up to the joy really fast, like when he
He-
first was there.
He did, but that was 4 years ago on his original knee.
And then
I can only assume it's like silly string and duct tape holding it together at this point in
And
time.
The
Prayer.
Ikiyoi
Like Ura?
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. In Makushita, absolutely bonkers Basho in Makushita. It's the playoff we wanted in the top division. On the midway, we were going nuts talking about all these different crazy playoff scenarios. And who was to know that we were going to get a 7 Rikishi playoff down in Juryo? To confirm what I believe we mentioned on the midway episode, that was a typical elimination bracket, just with one Rikishi receiving a bye to the semifinals. So no Tomoe-sen involved in there, just straight up elimination matches with one bye. And the winner of that was Hitoshi. This is his first Makushita Yusho and his fourth lower division Yusho. He's 26 years old, and he will be making his Juryo debut next Basho, as he was ranked Makushita 3. So fun to see that crazy playoff. I'm still mad we didn't get a 3 or 4 person playoff in the top division.
Still crazy, but remember, the magic numbers are 3, 5, and 9 if you want to get those Tomoe-sen hypothetically indefinite playoffs.
I want there to be a tournament that doesn't end until the day after, until like the Monday.
Right. I
They
want
just keep fighting
hours.
over and
Hours
over
and
and
hours.
over.
I want like a mandated sleep break, and you have to come back the next morning and keep fighting.
Yeah.
You sleep in the washi over there.
In Sandanme, our Yusho winner was Kita Harima. This is his first career Yusho in any division. He is 37 years old, and he competed in just one Makuuchi Basho back in September of 2016.
Good for
Wild.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Good for you, man, I
Now,
guess.
Let's see what you do in Makushita.
yeah, that's what I said. Now let's see what happens in Makushita.
On the opposite end of that spectrum, our Jonidan Yusho winner is Anosho. He is 18 years old. This is his first career Jonidan Yusho and his second consecutive 7-0 Yusho to start his career. He won a playoff match on day 15 for this Yusho. So we'll keep an eye on him, see what he does down in Sandanme. Be interesting to see how quickly he rises. Will he be a new member of the 21-0 club? Probably not, but possible.
Probably not. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then in Jonokuchi, we had Shiroma. He is 23 years old. This is his first career Basho, kinda. So he did.
Kinda.
he was Maizumo back in like January or March or something like that. And then for his first Basho that he was supposed to be in Jonokuchi, he was Kyujo, didn't show up for any of the days. And then he was like Bonsuke guy the next Basho, where he basically just kind of fell off the Bonsuke completely. And then he was back this Basho and finally competed in his first official match. And then he won all of them. He went 7-0 and won the Yusho. So first Basho, kinda.
Fair enough.
With that,
I'll allow it.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and we will get to the results of our GSB belt. Did it stay in Juryo for the entirety of the Basho? And we'll get to our bold predictions and the other stuff that we do. If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
So, the GSB belt. Did it stay in Juryo? I don't know. I didn't follow it. Did anybody...
Oh, okay. No, Jake.
Fortunately for me, somebody else was able to fill in the blanks before I got to it this evening. We'll never know. It could have been anyone. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
So we mentioned on the midway, Ono Sato had a pretty solid run going, and he did have the belt until day 9 when he lost to Ichi Yamamoto. Ichi Yamamoto, you might remember, was who we mentioned as the winner of the Juryo Yusho. So that means he must have kept it, right? Of course not. He had to drop yet one more match, because of course he did. Kitano Waka defeated Ichi Yamamoto on day 14. Ichi Yamamoto almost held it the whole time. And then, so Kitano Waka, that moves the belt, that actually did move the belt up, technically. Kitano Waka wasn't necessarily in the running for the Juryo Yusho, but that did move the belt from Juryo 14 Onosato to Juryo 7 Ichi Yamamoto to Juryo 2 Kitano Waka. Wow, that's pretty cool, right?
And if Kitano Waka would have won on day 15, he was Juryo 2 with a 9-6 record, would have been guaranteed promotion to the top division. What did he do, Jake?
So naturally, he didn't do that. You all knew that. Of course, you knew that. You know this belt is cursed. Instead, Kitano Waka dropped it to Juryo 11 Toki Hayate.
How
So
many
the belt-
Basho will it take to get the GSB to the top of Makuuchi? The world may never know.
The world may never know.
The,
So I did want to
the
bring.
world won't be around anymore.
Yeah. It'll be
Tootsie
the heat
Pop's
death
got
of the
nothing on
universe
these
before
things.
this moves on from Juryo.
Yeah.
But I did want to bring up a couple. I was mostly kidding. I did kind of follow along on this Basho. The Toki Hayate started this Basho with the belt on day one. Toki Hayate lost it to Shimanoumi. Or excuse me, he kept it. He lost it to Takahashi on day 2. My mistake. So yeah, ended up exactly where it started. What was Toki Hayate's record?
8-7, minimal
thank
promotion.
Christ. Okay,
It will go up. It'll be like
I
Juryo
was-
9 or 10.
Yeah. So it'll still be in that range where it could potentially end up anywhere in Juryo. But the higher up it goes, the more likely it gets dropped to somebody up in Makuuchi, or the more likely somebody gets promoted to Makuuchi with the belt. So we're on the right track. But yeah, obviously it's still a good ways to go. I did want to call out that Toki Hayate also lost he lost a match for the GSP belt 3 times in this Basho. he lost it originally, then he had a crack at Onosato, then he had a crack at Ichi Yamamoto, and then he finally got it by beating Kitano Waka. So
It's
I thought
destiny.
that was kind of funny.
This belt will be promoted to Yokozuna with Toki Hayate.
With Toki Hayate.
Yeah. It's forever intertwined with him now, it seems.
Yeah, Toki Hayate also had the belt in mid 2022 at Makushita 7.
Yeah.
Let's see, did he have it even earlier?
I
No,
don't
he
think
didn't.
so.
He did not.
So yeah, this is Toki Hayate's belt. He's got his name all over it.
We'll rename it the Toki Hayate Memorial GSB belt the next time we do an iteration of this. All right. Anyways, what's next?
Flerick, you did good in predictions this
You
time.
done the good.
Yeah.
How'd you do it? This was a crazy Basho. How'd you pull off the impossible?
I don't know. Like, what you do is you just put all your chips in the worst looking Ozeki, and just believe hard and fast into the wakiaki, and you're good to go. That's all it takes.
So
So your mistake was picking other people you thought were good, rather than like having those people denied from you first.
Indeed.
Yeah. You gotta go like say, this guy's gonna win it. Let's go one lower or 2.
He's gonna win it. Go one lower.
Let me pick somebody else.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I'll keep that in mind next time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but no, a Takakeisho Yusho actually quite exciting. It was yeah, I wasn't really following the along with it, but I knew that Takakeisho winning was pretty good, so I was really happy about that.
Yep.
And
you got-
Tobizaru was doing Tobizaru things.
Yep.
So
that helps.
good stuff.
Yeah, we all had decent picks for our chumps.
We all ended up at the same for our chump scores. We all got
Yep.
10.
Yep.
Yeah. Nishikigi, Tobizaru, Aoyama, Koto Shoho. None of them did very well.
Good job by
Yeah.
us there.
But yeah, the real kicker here was Flerick got Takakeisho for his champ, and that won him the title. And then I picked Shonan Naomi because I am an optimist, and I listened to damn Jake from Ohio, and he and I were hyping up Shonan Naomi to each other. But no, curse
The
you,
thi-
Jake! You brought me down.
The thing is, it would have been tough for you to choose. I mean, you could have gone with like Daisho. That would have gotten you out of the losing position. Koto
Tommy
Milwaukee-
Fuji might have gotten you there.
Yes, the Tommy Fuji that might have done well for me.
That might
Yeah,
have
thank
done
you.
well.
Thank you.
Gonoyama would have been a good pick.
So, Jake, what is your punishment that you will be cashing in on the November podcasts?
On the November podcasts, for all 3 of our Kyushu podcasts, I have to do an ad for a fake sumo company, or a fake advertisement, something to do with sumo.
Yeah.
And I have an idea. I'm shooting for the stars, similar to my Lord of the Rings one. I think I'm gonna bite off more than I can chew and just really go ham on it.
Respect.
But I don't want to say what it is because I might not do that.
Okay. that was a lot of effort. It was
Gotta
worth
go
it, but
ahead.
it was a lot of effort.
Gotta go ahead and hedge my bets and not say the thing that it might be because
Smart
I feel really
move.
dumb.
Because I had this last year, and I think I had some hopes it was going to be great and all, but the second one, I'm pretty sure I just said some words and then just ended with sideburns. For talking, it was
the Hakuho perfume. That was
not the
best
Hakuho
ad.
one. It was
Oh.
who the heck was it? Oh, it was the sideburns guy. So
Chiotaru?
Chiotaru, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Chiotaru.
He was popping
I
off
remember
at the
that one.
moment or something. So
Was
Oh,
it just
okay.
an advertisement for Chiotaru?
yeah, it was just kind of just saying some adjectives. Some were like sweaty and like big boy.
Sideburns.
Chiotaru.
Flarek just like made an outline of points he was gonna hit in his commercial and then didn't do anything else, and so that became the commercial.
Well, but
Yeah.
have you seen
the way it
some
goes
of the weird
sometimes.
like perfume and like scent commercials? It's like they just
Yeah.
start saying words.
Get like
wait a
some
minute.
slow-mo stock video of the ocean and just say powerful,
Powerful.
sensual. Yeah, no, I get it.
Wet.
Moisture is the essence of wetness.
humidity.
So yeah, have fun with that chick. Or Sukipito chick.
Thanks, Yokozuna Flarek.
All right, let's get to our bold predictions. And obviously, in a Basho like this, we had a lot of bad predictions. Let's start with Sandre the Giant, where he said that Koto Nawaka will start an Ozeki run. 9 wins isn't going to quite do that. Teruno Fuji Yusho. He did qualify if he turns up, but
Nah.
he didn't turn up. Gono Yama, double-digit Kachikoshi. 9
Close.
9 is not double digits. And then Hokuto Fuji's world's strongest Makekoshi, 8 and 7. Kachikoshi, sorry, Sandre, kind of all went against you here. At Real B Saints, this one's always gonna get you in the bad prediction column. Shoda Yusho.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't matter
Come
what
on.
else you say.
Come
Yeah.
on.
There was a hot second. It was good.
I don't even need to read the rest of the stuff. Shoda Yusho, bad prediction.
Nope.
And then Doctor of Style 27. He said, my bold prediction is Hokuseiho loses 10 bouts and falls to Juryo. He's a one-trick pony, and the top guys have figured him out.
Not quite.
Not yet.
Not
I
quite.
also appreciate that you're the one who read that because I definitely would have said Droff style.
Drop style.
Instead of Doctor of Style. No, your way makes way more sense than mine.
There were a lot of other ones. These are just a few of the highlights.
There were a lot of bad predictions, and not really a whole lot of good predictions. I think we do need to shout out Tim Sumo. I think he was one of our few people, or the only person that called out a Takakeisho Yusho, but he's like a Takakeisho fan. That's just what he's gonna do.
That guy has the
doesn't count.
second most Yusho out of every active out of every active Rikishi. That's not super bold.
So our winner is going to be somebody who came close at least one Basho or two ago, and that is Tessel 8. So it's going to sound a little weird, but we got logic. Kirishima Yusho. The other two Ozeki get their Kachikoshi, but not in Yusho contention. Teruno Fuji Kyujo before day 1, and Atami Fuji double-digit wins. If you just pretend he said Takakeisho first, it all lines up. And so
Yes.
in this field, that's enough to win the t-shirt. So congratulations to Tessel 8. We will be contacting you to get you the information so we can send you a free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt.
And yeah, this is kind of like the 11 and 4 Yusho of bold predictions. Like
Yeah,
this, I mean, it is a very good one, but like
it's a win. He gets the t-shirt.
yeah, but like a lot of the time we get like 7 things that are completely off the wall, but like because this was the most unpredictable weird ass Basho in a long time.
Tommy Fuji gets double-digit wins.
That's
How do you
it.
get
Yep.
an M? Why do
No,
you predict an M15?
This is absolutely the best prediction that we got, but I'm just trying to qualify that guessing Kirishima Yusho does not disqualify in this field of
No.
bold predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So
is
for
a
sure-
super difficult one to predict.
Yeah, the fact that they actually mentioned Atami Fuji is just like
That's what
Yeah.
won it for me.
Bonus
You,
points.
Power to you.
double-digit wins for Atami Fuji. Like, who would predict that? Well, damn, it worked.
As always, shout out to all of my best friends in the world that continue to predict Takayasu Yusho no matter what.
I on the midway, I thought it was happening. I was getting so excited for that guy. I'm like, finally, we're gonna get you a T-shirt. It happened.
I don't even care. There's like 3 or 4 of you that predict it every time. I don't even care. I'll send you all
T-shirt for
t-shirts.
everybody. Not to be. All right, let's move on to the GSB Awards. And the Instant Replay Award goes to Atami Fuji and Mitake Yumi for their double Mono E match with both endings of the match being identical
that
to
was so
each
funny.
other.
Hooray!
Yeah, it was like Mitake Yumi's heel goes over the edge right while throwing Atami Fuji down. Or was it vice versa?
Vice versa.
Vice versa.
But
Yep.
then they go to a Mono E. It's like, oh, that's too close. We got to do a rematch. And then they do the exact same thing. And it's like, it might have been just as close. Like, I don't.
They got it right
Yes,
the second time.
they did get it
It
right?
was
Okay.
close, but Mitake Yumi did touch down before Atami Fuji did.
Okay.
So.
But
It was
yeah,
very
just the
close,
fact that
but-
it went to the exact same scenario.
You
and
think they're gonna
almost as
double Tori
close.
Naoshi it? They're not gonna do that.
No way.
God, I wish they did, though. How great would
Be
that
so
be?
cool.
Oh.
Be so cool. The Lifetime Achievement Award for gratuitous flippery goes to Ura.
Well
it's
deserved.
such a long career of unnecessary flips that it was finally time he got recognized this Basho for that. So congratulations, Ura, for the Lifetime Achievement Award. I think this is
yeah.
only the second Lifetime Achievement Award we've given out. I think the other one was to Terutsu Yoshi for his Ashitori attempts.
This is
I thought
like,
it was Mitake Yumi for most disappointments, but that might be the end of the year award show.
Ouch. No, this is kind of like Leo DiCaprio getting the Oscar for The Revenant when he said like 11 words throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's just earned it by now.
It really looked like he got killed by that bear, though. He played the shit out of that.
He got messed up by that bear. Messed up.
I heard he fought real bears and lost to prepare for that role.
He's a method actor, yeah.
We also have the False Start Award. That's going to Hokuto Fuji. He was weirdly involved in both of the matches this Basho, where both competitors thought a Mono E was going to be called at the Tachiai, so they just kind of awkwardly
Oh, you mean
stood up.
Amata?
That one, where Mata
Mono- yeah,
would be
they-
called at the start of the match, but none was called, so they just kind of had like last second, oh shoot, I guess I'm pushing you out now. And so he was involved with Koto Nawaka. He was able to beat Koto Nawaka in that first one, and then one with Onosho, but he wasn't able to pull off that Onosho one. So it's just kind of weird that happened to Hokuto Fuji twice this
Yeah.
Basho.
Speaking of, it's also time for that one referee in the playoff to go see his eye doctor, because Takakeisho was not within like a foot of the ground on that playoff match.
No.
That should have been a Mata for sure. And
Oh yeah,
we didn't talk about that earlier. He
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
no.
No, not like, yeah. I mean, I watched it in slow-mo. I watched it zoomed in. Takakeisho did not get close. That was the most obvious Mata ever. Like, even in real time, like watching it as a casual fan, it was just like, really? Yeah. No, that ref, and that one's on the ref. That's not on Takakeisho.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's supposed to put his fists down, but if he gets away with it, he gets away with it. If
Yep.
not cheating if you don't get caught kind of deal. Like the
Mhm.
ref just blew it.
That ref had quite a bit of that going on this Basho. he had to turn in his resignation and get it denied for like the 12th time in his career. I think
Yeah.
I've seen something that he's like planning on retiring sometime within the next year.
That'd be
Oh, really?
cool.
Yeah.
It's such
Oh.
a bummer that like Gyojiing is so dependent on seniority. Like
Mhm.
like you're basically guaranteed that the oldest, least fit, blindest guy is refereeing the most important matches. Like
Yeah.
just by the way
There-
the system is set up.
Yeah, there is merit though. I think it's a lot more time based, seniority based, like before Jurio. But once Jurio hits, there is merit that kind of gets you up. But I'm not sure if there is like a demotion process for it. That's I think the big thing, especially if you're a Tate Gyoji,
If
like
if
the
there
current
was
Inosuke Shikamori.
yeah, I was gonna say if there was a demotion process for the top
It would be
EOG,
in play.
it would have happened by now. So I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say there's not really I don't know if like Takakeisho is like Yokozuna, where like you have it and you're always gonna have it no matter what. So we can't demote you anymore, or if like all Gyoji ranks are like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I do know to get promoted in the first place is merit based,
Yeah.
at least.
All right, and our final award, the match of the Basho. We've got 4 nominees. First one is a day 2 match between Koto Nowaka versus Asanoyama. Been a long day for me. Day 5, we've got Kirishima versus Asanoyama. Day 12, really weird seeing this name on the match of the Basho list, but Ura versus Tsurugisho. And then
he exists.
Yeah.
yeah. And then on day 13, Midori Fuji versus Koto Shoho. I bet Midori Fuji won by Kata Tsukashi in that match. But the 4 of us agreed the day 5 matchup between Kirishima and Asanoyama is our match of the Basho. Just a great back and forth classic belt battle that ended up going in Kirishima's favor. Really fun one to watch.
With a
there.
great trip at the end.
Yeah. If we were awarding a move of the Basho, I still can't get over the Midori Fuji throw against Sada Naomi.
Yeah.
So a special highlight to that one. But overall match, Kirishima versus Asanoyama. So we did get a few questions from fans and patrons that we need to answer. Jake, what is going on with this first one?
This first one is from William, one of our buddies on Instagram. This was long before we actually knew what the final Yusho total was going to be. But he put together some stats on what is the final record of the Yusho winner. 17% of the time, the Yusho winner gets 15-0. This is going back, like I mentioned before, this is going back to like the 50s ish when we started doing like started being like the system that it is today. So yeah, about 69 total times, 17%. The winner of the Basho has 15 wins. 145 times, so about 37%. The winner of the Basho has 14 wins. 131 times, or 33%, the winner has 13 wins. And 10% of the time, the winner of the Basho has 12 wins. That leaves a total of 4 times ever. Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Where 11-4 is good enough for a Yusho.
Got that platinum achievement, Takakeisho.
Exactly.
Did 11-4 Yusho.
The only 3 times it's happened, Tochiazuma in 1972, Musashi Maru in 1996, and the debut Basho for Grand Sumo Breakdown, Haruma Fuji in 2017. What's up, Flair?
That was great. Yeah. Talking about how little that happened. I'm just waiting for next Basho. He gets the 10-5 Yusho and like 2 Yushos in a row, and just seeing what happens from there. That'd be great.
It's mathematically possible that everyone could go either 7-8 or 8-7, and there's a 21-way playoff for the win. Mathematically possible. So who knows? It'll happen eventually.
And the entire playoffs, he does nothing but henkas. Like, it gets funny after a while, but then he's like, surely he won't do it again, right?
Surely not the 6th time in a row.
Yeah.
The end of it, the Kyoji just throws up his Goomba, like, I'm done. Like, get out of the ring. Both of you just get out of the ring right now.
This is stupid. I quit.
I would love to see the math on this, like, over during the GSB era, because our experience certainly isn't 14-1 being the most common winning record. Like, I think for us, probably 13-2, but 12-3 over the past few years has been a really popular winning mark.
Yep. There hasn't been a 15-0 since 2021.
Teruno Fuji in November of 2021, so we're going about 2 years since the last Zen show, which I don't know how well Zen show we know how common they are. 69 total times, so more than a little less than 1 per year. So we're due, but who's gonna do it?
But that's supposedly more common than the 12-3.
Yeah, which is
sorry, not supposedly, but that in total
it definitely
that is more than
I'm wondering how much of that was Hakuho. How much did Hakuho skew the numbers?
Quite a bit. I have to
12
assume.
or 13 or something like
16 Zensho Yusho.
That's
there
what
you
I'm
go.
talking about.
Not bad.
All right, what's next?
Patron Giuseppe Salico. This is
Hey,
this is an
Giuseppe!
interesting one. So he said on day 8, just before the fight of Takakeisho and Tobizaru, you could see Takakeisho doing the last nod towards the corner, and 3 probably sumo wrestlers in a yukata standing in the hallway. When Takakeisho turns away, they also all turn away. So his question is, what is the most likely role of those 3 wrestlers if this was a novel?
Ooh.
The role.
It in my head, it's immediately some sort of conspiracy theory. Like they're going back to do shenanigans of some kind to set up something bad.
Ooh, I see. Do they like turn around and leave, or do they just turn around and stand there? Because I feel like that makes a difference in the vibe.
I would assume they would turn around and leave, but if they turn around and stand there, that makes it
That's just
even
creepy as hell.
Yeah, that changed it to like some sort of like cult like thing.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna
or, like,
say something where like their eyes gazing upon the match is like
not
negating a
worthy.
deal that Takakeisho made with a greater being or something.
yeah.
No. Okay, I got a different direction to take this. So this is essentially a boys love yaoi manga comic that's going on. These are his 3
Not
Suke
Sumo
Bito.
erotica time yet, Cleric.
These are his 3 Suke Bito, and they just cannot stand to watch this match because they were just too nervous. And so as soon as he nodded like to go do the match, they just all turned away. Says I can't watch this at all. So that's the role. You know, they're the 3 Suke Bito who are just in constant competition with each other to win their senpai's favor.
Notice me, senpai.
I like that more than the weird culty explanation that me and Ryan were going for.
I was gonna go the food route and just be like, okay, you know how I like my chanko. We will make it.
Go start the microwave.
Go start get the pot going.
I want to circle back to Flarix. So we had
Something intrigued him here.
Yeah. So we had in his sumo erotica Koto Eiko, Ura, and Tobizaru all competing for the affections of Takara Fuji. And the asset of Takara Fuji, that is most noticeable for us, at least, has always been his firm buttocks. And so they were all yes.
I like how you're really getting into the sumo erotica hole, Ryan. Let's go.
Really going into the GSB lore.
Yeah. But sorry, my wife just started saying weird stuff and it confused me. I apologize. But
did she turn her away as you were about to start the podcast? Did you nod to each other and then you went to put on your headphones?
No.
I will get your dinner ready.
My question is, what kind of competition are these 3 having for the affections of Takakeisho? Because if the other 3 were trying to have the best ass to impress Takara Fuji, what are these guys fighting to have to impress Takakeisho? The shortest arms?
The most spherical body.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
The more you look like a complete perfect circle, the more he get really appreciated by Takakeisho.
Love it. All right. So Giuseppe, they're in love. That's the
hope that
answer.
helps. I hope that helps, Giuseppe.
And then we have a question from Shlomo Baggins on Twitter, who claims to be a BFF of the show on Patreon. So Shlomo, you need to get back with us. Let us know what your Patreon handle is so we know who we're talking to. But his question
otherwise this question will be invalid.
Yes.
We don't know him.
No. What's the question?
All right.
Yeah. Why does no one drink the power water? All the rickshaws seem to just dump it back in the bucket. COVID. They changed it up.
Yeah, there used to be a ritual where you'd get a drink from it, you'd swish it around a little bit, and you'd spit into the paper, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I guess I didn't notice the change, but they just like, I guess like hang out with the ladle for a second and then dump it.
I read that they like mime the action, but they just pour the ladle like back in.
Okay.
Oh, but they used to do something.
COVID restrictions. Maybe they'll go back
sense.
soon, but yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty simple answer.
Honestly, a pretty good explanation.
Yeah. Favorite moment of the Basho? Midori Fuji throwing Sadanobu. Can't say how much I love that move. And there wasn't a whole lot else as Basho.
Yeah, damn it. That was going to be my
The
explanation.
gems. Just pick the gems.
Yeah, for me, it feels weird saying it now, but we all know how we're going to remember this Basho years from now. Was that the one where Takakeisho henka'd with Amata in the finals in the playoffs? Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, it's, I guess favorite would be a weird way to describe it, but it's definitely the
most memorable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
most
I'll go with
memorable.
that. I'll go with that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I just realized this makes Takakeisho easy nominee for Villain of the Year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Along with Gonoyama for reasons, according to Ryan.
He associates
you,
with
Goeido.
Goeido. No law-abiding citizen I know would do such a thing.
Good Lord.
All right. I think my just shout out was on day 11. That was when Hiro Morito was doing some English commentary, and like I got snippets of it during the Kitamiyama video, and just his like commentary on that day, but especially the Takakeisho versus Wakamoto horror match was on point. Like he brought the energy, and I was hyped up, I will say.
Yeah,
But-
I think Sumo Primetime's been doing a bit more kind of live English commentary for the days. Hopefully they kind of, especially with the crackdown on some of the videos that we're usually watching on YouTube, hopefully they kind of extend that, maybe bring it to all 15 days, maybe have like a quick 30-minute digest of all
Dude,
the matches in a day.
Put 100 ads on it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. Monetize the shit out of it. I don't care. Just give
give
me
it,
a
give it, give
reliable
it.
way that I can watch.
Yes.
Give me a legal way. I'll pay for it. I just don't want to wait a full day for the results.
And I'm
Shut up
not
and take
paying
our
for
money.
the entire channel just to only get it one time at 2 a.m. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We want to give you a little bit of money. We just don't
Mhm.
want to do the way that, Sorry.
But for a favorite moment, yeah, definitely the henka. With Takakeisho.
Oh, we all knew that one. Sorry. I thought that was a done deal.
Yeah.
Yokozuna Fleric, of course, is going to go for the henka.
He busted
course,
out the
yes.
trumpet. He was
Duh.
blaring out victory notes.
For me, it was Midori Fuji fighting back. So I love to see the streaks, and especially from where he started, I'm like, all right, let's go, little guy. You got it.
Good job, Midori Fuji, this
Yeah,
Basho.
good on you.
Oh, Mac, your background reminded me. My other favorite moment of the Basho, the live action One Piece, pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I've heard good things
Like
about
the-
it. I
It
refuse
is
to
quite
watch
good.
it. I refuse to. I'm not good because if I watch that, I'm gonna want to watch the anime. If I watch the
And
anime,
the
I'm
anime
gonna
will
read.
take 100 years.
I'm gonna want to
well,
read the
yeah.
manga. I just don't have that kind of time.
I've
in
been
my life.
Honestly,
following
it's-
it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's eight episodes that are 1 hour long of the live action show, and it covers like what 60 episodes of the
Oh,
anime
yeah,
or
no, it
something like that.
condenses it condenses
Yeah.
a lot of stuff down.
Which is what I need if I'm ever going to know anything about One Piece.
I need to reread the Stormlight Archive books over this next year before book 5 comes out, and that's going to be like all of my media that I can consume to try to get through all of
It's
those.
a lot.
It's
Okay,
a lot.
You got me hooked on Era 2 of the Brando Sando series. So
Yeah.
I am now
Good.
in
You're welcome.
Alloy of No, it is fantastic, but that's a long read.
Yeah, let me know in like 4 years or so when I'm finally done with the Horus Heresy novels, and then maybe I'll try another book. But like,
Oh,
that
you're
might
reading
be-
the Horus Heresy novels?
I'm way too deep to stop now. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like 15 out of 50 books. Like I'm too deep.
Nice.
So that is going to wrap up our discussion of one of the wackier Aki Bashos, the wackiest we've had since the original Wacky Aki back in 2017. The next Basho is going to begin on Sunday, November 12th. Will Teruno Fuji be back? Will Takakeisho finally claim the rank of Yokozuna? All of those questions will be answered next time on Dragon Ball Z. Our upcoming episodes, we're going to have another trading card episode. We're going to be going back in the time machine and getting the 2020 Series 1 trading card box. We're going to get 120 cards. Open it up, see what we get. Hopefully we get another autograph one. We've been lacking.
We need
those in the
one. We
past
need one
few.
more.
We want more. We've got a Tamawashi, and that's great, but we want better. We want more. We're going to have our Bonsuke prediction and review episodes before the next Basho begins. Can I take the number 1 overall ranking in the Guess the Bonsuke standings? I'm sitting at number 2 right now. Do I have what it takes to be number 1? I think so, but we'll find out if he can do it next time on Dragon Ball Z.
For amateur sumo, we have I'm talking to Jake Cullison of Ohio, the man who steered me wrong on Shonan Naomi. I'm going to have a come to Jesus moment with him, but we're going to also recap the Beer City Sumo Open. We're also going to have some coverage coming up of the international tournaments. One of the notable ones that I know will be coming out, but I don't know when. We're going to talk to Joe Ponsetto, the 3-time reigning lightweight U.S. champion. Going to talk about the international events that he's traveling for. Going to talk about his journey through sumo. Real fun guy. That's going to be good. Yeah, I think by the end of the month, we'll probably have like 3 more episodes coming out this month. But yeah, lots of amateur sumo stuff, especially with the international stuff going on. Keep an eye out, keep an ear out. We got a lot to cover.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
On Dragon Ball Z. Oh, you're not even okay. All right, fine. We're done. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ryan quits.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.